Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching.
Ryan Harris, Vic Lombardi here for Here Come the Irish. Do you like what I've done with the place here, Ryan? An
I
honor
do.
championship.
Play like a champion today. Let's go. It's championship week. Woo!
I'm not messing around here, bro. It's been a big week. The first ever championship game for the Fighting Irish. They've yet to lose a conference game in their history. I know as a player, obviously, you had a different set of nerves, but as a broadcaster, as an alum, as a fan, as a guy who watches, do you get up for these games like you did as a player? Is it a different kind of up?
Absolutely. You can smell the anticipation in the air at these kinds of games. I mean, these guys know this is where legends are made. Either you're going to continue to build the legend of this Notre Dame team, or the legend of Trevor Lawrence is going to grow. But either way, this is a win-win game for Notre Dame. But I love that people continue to doubt Notre Dame. How many more games does Notre Dame have to hear about the team that they are playing that they end up beating? It's going to be fantastic.
I was happy with the point spread being where it was and all the doubters and the odds makers, because I think that's just fuel to the fire. I think it's a wonderful advantage to be doubted, don't you?
Absolutely. You got nothing to lose if you're Notre Dame. And, I mean, the fact that Notre Dame already has Dabo Swinney talking about two lost teams making it in the college football playoffs, I mean, that is just a testament to how great football that Notre Dame has played this year.
Yeah, and it's redemption for the Irish, all those years worrying about what's it going to take to get into the college football playoffs, not being in the conference, and now different arguments when they're in the conference. It's absolute mayhem. We don't know what's going to happen. I do know this. You're playing a team for the second time. How tough is that second game, the rematch? Because you did it often in the NFL.
Yeah, well, the thing is it depends on what kind of plays you're running. There's got to be something new. And one of the things I anticipate Clemson to blitz off the edge. They did a lot of blitzing up the middle. So typically when you play a team for the second time, there's something new that's out of character for you, because they know you're watching a lot of the film of your last game. But one of the things they cannot stop is Notre Dame's rushing attack. And Ian Book has gotten better passing the ball with anticipation, which will be all the difference in this game.
Well, last time it was at Notre Dame Stadium. This game, of course, will be in Charlotte, and the weather's supposed to be pleasant for that game. A change of venue, does that matter as much anymore, considering the stands aren't as packed as we normally would see them?
Well, it matters because, even Coach Kelly talking about it, these guys have been stuck in South Bend, Indiana with no friends, no family the last, 3 weeks. Yeah, they want to go somewhere new. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does. Yeah. But it's also super cool when you're at Notre Dame, and I went through this multiple times. When you play at an NFL stadium, you can't help but to stand a little taller. And one of the things people don't know about NFL stadiums, everything's bigger. Right? At college stadiums, you've got the 5'8" guys, the 5'6" guys, and the 6'5" guys. Well, in the NFL, you got 6 foot, 6'5", 6'7", and you got wide body. So the lockers are bigger, the Gatorade, refrigerators are bigger. So everything feels bigger, including the game you're about to play.
We're going to break down Clemson during the course of this show, of course, with our reporters from the Observer. We're going to visit with several generous donors, get Vic's picks a little bit later. But when you look at Clemson, it's not just Trevor Lawrence who's coming back. They had some other pieces of their team who didn't play that first go around. How much of a concern is that?
It's definitely going to make the game different. But Vic, whoever's returning at whatever position, linebacker, corner, they've never played a team like Notre Dame. And that's exactly what happened to Clemson the first time. Travis Etienne, he's such a great running back. Well, he got 28 yards because he hadn't played against Notre Dame. Right. So whoever's coming in has not played at a level like this. So in that way, I believe it's an overall disadvantage.
Can't wait to hear your interview with Justin Tuck. Now, you played with Justin, right? Were you guys there at the same exact years, or how far did you overlap?
Yeah, so he was a year ahead of me.
Okay.
When I got there and they told me, hey, we're going to give you the opportunity to start this week, one of the first things I had to do was go on a 2-minute drill against Justin Tuck. And he got a sack on the first play, but then we ended the drive scoring a touchdown. And that was really the beginning of coaches trusting me. And what's super cool is that, Justin and I have remained friends. He's always been so kind. But when I saw him on the football field last, I was playing with the Chiefs and he was with the Raiders. And I was like, man, this is my guy, Justin. I can't talk to him. I'm going to let him talk first. So we're playing each other. I do something after a play. Hey, man, come on, man. And about third quarter, Justin looks at me, sticks out his hand, and we just high five, and he goes to his huddle. That's the only. And then after the game, we talk, we laugh, but it was just so strange to be on the field again against Justin Tuck, knowing the deep friendship we have.
That is weird. All right, so the Irish complete their regular season undefeated. They cap it off with a nice win against Syracuse at home. A game seems like months ago. I mean, I'm literally trying to recollect what happened in that game, and all I remember is Ian Book being crowned the winningest quarterback in Notre Dame history. Other than that, help me out.
Hey, it was fantastic. They were throwing. It was a stalemated game for a little bit, too. Yeah. The defense had to adjust on the fly, did it in the second quarter, and wow, Notre Dame continues to roll.
They do continue to roll. Let's take a look back at that game, sort of as a preview to the ACC championship, only because, listen, Notre Dame did everything perfectly this year. They were perfect on the season, 10-0, capping it off with a dub against the Orange.
Last time we were with you in this stadium, the unforgettable win for Notre Dame over number 1 Clemson. Since then, the Irish have validated that with back-to-back wins, and they found out that they've clinched a berth in the ACC championship game. At this moment, they want to complete the regular season undefeated, get a 24th consecutive home win, and send Ian Book out with more wins than any other quarterback in Notre Dame history.
Looks like I'm back to my ways, back to my ways, back to my ways, back to my ways. Truth be told, I'm back to my ways. We're on roll. Back to my ways, I'm back to my ways. Thought I was turning the page. Yeah, I'm back to my ways.
McKinley ruled, breaking the play. Blitz coming, ball comes out. 2, picked up by Maris. Leo foul. McKinley goes up and gets it.
Dominate the third quarters. Everybody got the message. Sure. So defensively, we go out and dominate it right now. All right, let's go play.
He lost the football, and it's recovered by Notre Dame.
From the shotgun, drilled in the backfield as soon as he handed off. Throws to the right, intercepted by Dalen Hayes.
There were a lot of nice individual performances. I want to start with Javon McKinley's performance. I think, Kyron, you're lucky that you got to 1,000 yards tonight. But the one thing that I wanted to bring up is the all-time winningest quarterback in the history of Notre Dame. With 30 wins, accounted for 5 touchdowns today. Game ball goes to Ian Book.
Notre Dame closes out a perfect regular season. They've won 24 straight at home, and Ian Book has set the mark for the most wins as starting quarterback in Irish history.
Yeah, I love you guys, man. We can see, what's in sight for us. We got a few left. Let's go, man. I appreciate you guys. I couldn't do any of this without you, so here we go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
A few more games. Wait, that means the ACC championship. A few is 3. That means the college football playoffs and the college football national championship. Let's go. By the way, somebody tell Ian Book his resume's done. He never has to put another thing on a resume. Just put all-time winningest quarterback at Notre Dame. Period. Any job he wants. Well, the job that many of you want is the job that Aiden Thomas has. He's going to come and tell us about this Clemson defense. So welcome Aiden Thomas from The Observer. Aiden, welcome, my friend.
Hey, Ryan. How's it going this week?
I'm doing good. Did you survive the winter storm on the East Coast that all the East Coasters are crying about?
I was out there shoveling in the morning. We were getting in after it, just making sure I've got internet and TV for the game on Saturday.
Hey, man, I'm going to tell you this. I'm too rich to shovel, and I know a lot of people are with me on this. But let's talk about the Clemson defense. A couple of players returning that didn't play in the first game. Who are some of those players for Clemson?
Yeah, so the big name is James Skalski. He's a middle linebacker, and he's been an impact player for Clemson for a couple of years. His impact, you could really see it last year. I remember watching him in the Clemson LSU National Championship, and he was middle linebacker. He got ejected for targeting, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire ended up having, I think, 78 of his 110 rushing yards after Skalski left the game. And you saw Skalski wasn't there in November, and Kyron Williams had a great day, 140 yards, 3 touchdowns. Irish had 200 yards rushing overall. So he's going to be the major guy that comes back, along with a couple other starters around him to kind of boost this Clemson defense.
Well, they still have 2 freshmen on their defensive line. I love that all day, that matchup. What are some other matchups? I know Spectre had a good game last time they faced Notre Dame. What are some other matchups that are going to be tough for Notre Dame?
I believe that for Notre Dame, the biggest one is going to be Tyler Davis coming back. He's another one of those players that they didn't see in South Bend, and he is more than likely to be matching up where Notre Dame is a little banged up on the offensive line, probably against Josh Lugg or Zeke Norrell, or Zeke Correll, I should say. So he's going to be a guy that he's really physical. He's a big guy. He's going to be a challenge for Notre Dame to handle, especially that Notre Dame's offensive line. It's still relatively intact, but it's definitely a little bit more banged up than when Clemson came to Notre Dame. So I think that matchup, Tyler Davis against whoever he's going against, is going to be one to watch. And then whoever you mentioned early in the show that they might bring outside rushes or outside blitzes. And I think Mike Jones is going to be huge to watch on that. He's an outside linebacker, could be coming off the edge a little bit. So I think whoever he's coming against and whether Kyron Williams and other tight ends can pick him up in blitz packages to kind of protect Ian Book, give him some time to pass.
Now, do you know Mike Jones's phone number? Who? Mike Jones. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
You might be dating me here. I'm not sure.
I feel like Vic Lombardi. All right, and lastly, where are the opportunities for Notre Dame against this Clemson defense this weekend?
So to beat them the second time, Tommy Rees is going to have to throw in some different packages, or not even different packages, just some different plays that maybe Clemson didn't see. They're going against Brett Venables, a defensive coordinator who's arguably one of the best in the business. I was going to say second best, but Clark Lee is going to be a head coach now, so Venables might be the best now. To me, I think you have to start the run game. I think you have to establish that and make sure Skalski and other linebackers can't cheat on Ian Book's mobility, because if Ian Book is staying in the pocket and not being able to impact the game with his legs, it's going to be tough for Notre Dame to win. So I think the big thing is get Kyron Williams going, get Chris Tyree some carries, use your tight ends in great blocking packages, and then start using Michael Meyer in the slant, use Skoranek and McKinley to stretch the field, and then maybe open up, I don't know, maybe Tommy Rees has a little bit of trickery in his bag, something just to open it up and keep Clemson a little off balance now that they've seen the Irish run through their playbook once.
Well, I think Tommy Tremble and Javon McKinley are going to be big pieces. And I'm with you. Chris Tyree has been really impressive, especially the last couple games. He is Aiden Thomas from The Observer. He survived the snowstorm. Thank you, Aiden.
Thanks, Ryan. Have a good one.
Next, let's hear from Coach Kelly as he talked about this matchup against Clemson.
Clemson's not a team that needs confidence. You know, they've been the king of the ACC for a number of years. So I think in the game that we played, I think both teams got a better sense of who they are. And I don't know that there's an advantage one way or the other. This is still going to come down to the fundamentals and players making plays. There's really good players on both sides of the ball. I just think it's going to be a really closely contested football game. I think it's going to match up the way people think it is.
All right, it's time to break down the Clemson offense. And we know how potent the Tigers can be. They scored 73 in a game this year. Of course, they scored 40 against the Irish and lost. That was with another quarterback. This week, Trevor Lawrence returns to the fold. For more on that Clemson offense, let's bring in, as usual every week, Charlotte Edmonds, who joins us from The Observer. Charlotte, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Vic?
Very good, thank you. So how different are the Tigers with the old Trevor Lawrence back there?
There's no question. Vegas is right. I think right now the line is I think Clemson has about a little over a touchdown advantage. Yeah. So I think that's absolutely attributed to the addition of Trevor Lawrence. However, for people who are expecting all the doom and gloom to come down on Notre Dame, DJ Uiagalelei, who played against them a month ago, he's no schmuck. He is also a 5-star. So I don't think that the drop-off between the two players is as dramatic. But really the biggest advantage that Trevor Lawrence has is he's been in this position. You know, we all remember as a true freshman him taking down, 30-3 in Dallas. So this is definitely, in terms of a game management style, Trevor Lawrence will bring a different element to the game.
That's a very good point. I'm not worried about the production because DJ produced in that game in South Bend. He put a lot of yards and numbers on the board. That wasn't the issue. The issue was perhaps in that second overtime when the Notre Dame defense got to him. You wonder how Trevor Lawrence will hold up in a clutch situation. He's a clutch quarterback, so I totally get it. Any other members of that Clemson offense that didn't play the last time around playing this time?
Not that I'm aware. I know there were definitely some injuries and perhaps COVID reasons to defense.
Sure.
That said, in the era at this point in the season and in the era of COVID, with so many things changing, there is a high probability that either team might have a change up to their lineup, within days of the game. So that'll be something to watch going forward, but not that I'm aware of. I really think the biggest change, however, will be in how Clemson approaches the emphasis on either the run game or the pass game. There's been a lot made of Clemson's run game, particularly led by Travis Etienne. He has certainly given himself that reputation for a reason, but the last 3 games, Notre Dame held him to 28 yards. And then the following 2 games against Pitt and Virginia Tech, he had, I think, 66 and 58. Mm-hmm. So nothing to scoff at, but he's no longer the presence that was once feared, at least as of recent. Meanwhile, we've seen, in Trevor Lawrence's first game back, he put up over 400 passing yards. So I think a lot of that boils down to the emergence of Cornell Powers. I'm spacing on his name, but he is a redshirt senior wide receiver who has really emerged as kind of the go-to, putting up 150 yards. And he had a big catch against Notre Dame down the stretch. And I think that he could be the X factor for this Clemson offense.
Listen, in the first matchup in South Bend, scoring came relatively easy for these teams. But there's something about rematches where things change. Would you be surprised if this is a little more low scoring?
Yes. I expect it to, it's tough because double overtime, that gives you a lot more time to score. I anticipate that it will be that way. So I will not be surprised if it is more low scoring for that reason alone. I also think even though Clemson is no doubt still probably the favorite, there's a lot more on the line for them. They can't afford to lose this and stand a chance at qualifying for the college football playoff by all standards. So I expect them to come out focused. They're not gonna, it will come down to game management, and it'll be a test of whether Ian Book, 2 years ago, he proved that he was not able to manage it at that point. But, 3 weeks ago, there seemed to be a whole different sense of leadership on that field. So I think that's what it will really come down to.
Well, I cannot wait to see who is the last quarterback standing, because it could be one of those games, whoever has the ball last wins the game. You never know. So it will be fun either way, Charlotte. Are you going to get to go to the game, or are you going to watch it from home?
As of now, I'm planning on watching it from home. Yeah. So one of our writers, Hayden, will be heading down to the game, which will be pretty cool. So,
well, join the party. Home is not a bad place to watch a game like this. It's going to be intense. Thanks for your help. We'll talk to you later in the year.
Of course. Thank you.
Hope we play better. Hope we fit the run better. Hope we don't let them run the stretch for 65 yards on the first play. Hopefully we contain the quarterback better. That's going to be easier said than done. Ian Book had a field day against us. He extended plays. He made a lot of off-schedule plays. They're one of the best scramble teams out there. And you got to give them credit for that, because that's coached. It's not like they're just out there playing street ball. These guys, they coach the scramble drill, and they know what they're doing. They're on the same page. There's a lot of chemistry. Ian does an awesome job of managing the pocket and stepping up when he needs to and slipping out and again, extending plays and then running. So, hopefully we can do a better job of not giving up some of the big plays. We got a touchdown lead with a minute something to go. They got to go about 80-something yards, and we give up almost all that on one play. And on a young safety in the game that hopefully we'll learn from that. So that's where it starts. We got to do a better job, like I said, in the trenches. We got to do a much better job of containing this quarterback. He's a great player. He's going to make plays, but we've got to do a better job than we did in the first game. We got to fit the run better. We missed some tackles, and then we got to make some of the competitive plays, because they're going to push the ball down the field. That's just what they do. The ball's going downfield, and you can't sit back and play a bunch of zone coverage on these guys. They're going to run the ball right at you. You're going to have some one-on-one matchups, and and we've got to do a better job of winning some of those plays.
Is it just me, or is it every time Dabo Swinney speaks, you just think, we're going to beat you, we're going to beat you, we're going to beat you? Well, hey, I'm so excited for our next guest. You know, some people in life teach us what is possible, and our next guest has taught me what was possible, not only in football, but in life. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion. He made Tom Brady cry not once, but twice. He holds the single-season sack and tackle record at the University of Notre Dame and owns the career sack record that he stole from Corey Minor. Please welcome a man we called the Freak, a world champion out of Tuckville, Alabama, a VP at Goldman Sachs. Please welcome Justin Tuck. What's up, man?
Listen, man, if you're hiring or you're available to be hired, I can go on a roll with that introduction.
I'll introduce you after you have Goldman Sachs pay me a bunch to come speak. We'll work it out, man. We'll work it out.
Hold on. That was one of the better ones I've had.
Well, hey, man, I'll tell you what. If I didn't do that, I'd be crying for how much you meant to me and how much you've helped me in my life. I learned, for those watching, how to play football going against Justin Tuck as a freshman, and it made me better. But, Justin, let's start. Okay. What's it like to make Tom Brady cry? Come on, man.
Well, I'll say something before I answer that. I'll say I'm still very vigilant about that first game in Pittsburgh where you helped pave the way to, I think, 260 yards by Julius Jones. So I think you give me a lot of credit here, but I think you were ready to play out of the gates there. I might have added to it a little bit, but not much.
Hey, man, yeah. Everybody was worse than you. Practice was the hardest part of my week.
Yeah, that was same came to the games, man. Everybody was like, "Yo, we're going to miss this All-American." I'm like, this guy is nowhere near close to what Ryan gives us in practice.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, Tom, man, listen, I hate quarterbacks. he is obviously the main person that when you talk about the greatest of all time, he is on the top of that list. Obviously, there's a lot of other people that you could put in the same category as him, but like as far as my time playing the sport, he's definitely a guy who I look at and say, I want to beat that guy. I want to be a part of beating that guy because he is Tom Brady. He's done things in this league, in our league, that no one else has done. So for me, man, those games were just I just remember being super focused on it because you had to be, because if he wasn't, he was going to embarrass you just like he has done that all throughout his career. So I got up, I couldn't sleep before those games. I was so super focused on doing something during those games to make sure that our team had a better chance of winning. But, Tom and players like him, man, they just bring the best out of you.
Now, what was your mindset going in? Because twice you had to do the unthinkable, and both times that the Giants won the Super Bowl, they were the wild card team, which I can't put into words for those of you watching how difficult that is. But you've clearly taken that beyond football as well. So a lot of those watching are going through the unthinkable, whether it's the pandemic or a holiday season that's a little different, right? Sure. What was something that got you through every time you faced what seemed to be an insurmountable obstacle to others?
Yeah, I just feel like, well, with Tom, and also you got to add in the component that he's a Michigan grad, and you know how we feel about those. But in life in general, I think, I've always looked at it from the perspective of God has put me and gave me this platform, right? He's given me the opportunity. So for me to squander that opportunity means that I've wasted a valuable gift. So when I think about those opportunities, whether that is in football or finance or business or whatever it is, I just always want to be prepared. I always wanted to do my due diligence, help my team prepare, on both sides of the ball. In football, right? We talk about how we prepared each other, right? Going against each other in practice. When you got in the game, the O-lineman I went against didn't know me as well as you did, so he wasn't going to be able to play as well. Same thing in everything else. So I've always tried to be as prepared for those moments, so that when you get in those moments, you're not overwhelmed by them. If you think about the Super Bowl, what's different in the Super Bowl than it is when you're just playing in the backyard with your brothers, right? It's the same rules, it's the same concept. People get so, enamored by the fact that, millions and millions of people are watching you. But at the end of the day, my job didn't change. So I think I try to take those same attributes in everything I do in life, right? If you're prepared for that moment when you're by yourself, like for me in finance now, if I'm prepared for that moment when I'm putting together spreadsheets at midnight in my own room, right? Why wouldn't I be prepared for that moment when I'm trying to do that same thing in front of clients or in front of prospects or wherever it may be? So I've always just tried to be super prepared so that when you got into that moment, it wasn't too big for you.
Well, you had a lot of amazing moments while you were at Notre Dame. And before we get to whether they call you Mr. Vice President or if you have your own seal of entry there at Goldman Sachs, what were some of your memories at Notre Dame that really changed you? I know you met your wife at Notre Dame, but what were some of those moments at Notre Dame that changed you?
I would say the first moment that changed me was, we all know the history of Notre Dame when we go there. But the first time I ran out of that tunnel and hit that play like a champion sign, that was an aha moment for me. It was like that I have arrived moment. And I'll never forget that. Until then, it was just like, oh man, this is a game. Like when you run in front of those fans for the first time and you run out of that tunnel and you hear the marching band play our fight song and so on and so forth, that was an aha moment for me, and I'll never forget it. Outside of that, man, everyone knows Notre Dame is like their own bubble, so you don't really appreciate it as much until you're leaving the university. And that my next aha moment, even though I had great moments of it, the next aha moment for me was when I graduated and I was, leaving the main circle, and you see that golden dome in your rearview mirror, and you just realize that, this place has prepared you for what's next. And for me, it was the transition from coming to Notre Dame as a boy and leaving as a man. And you talked about, I met my wife there. I have so many friends that I talk to on a very constant basis that I met there. That place owns a special corner in my heart that you just can't verbalize it. You can't. The vocabulary that I have does not do it justice by what Notre Dame's mean to me and my family.
Well, let's try on my vocabulary here. Mr. Vice President at Goldman Sachs. First of all, I mean, we're friends, but do I have to call your secretary? I wanted to call your secretary before this just to see when I could get a meeting with you. But what's life like as a VP at one of the premier financial institutions in our country, man? That's congratulations.
Thank you. It's stressful. I mean, you are dealing with some of the most sophisticated, smartest investors that ever walked the face of this earth. And I have to find ways to add value to what they're trying to accomplish, right? And it molds itself in so many different ways, whether that is complete asset allocation to, parts provider to just helping their kids think about what schools to attend. I mean, yeah, we're in finance, but it's so much more than that. And for me, you never know what that phone is going to, who's going to be at the other end of that line or what the email is going to be like. So I always wake up in the morning excited about the day because it's never a dull moment, but it's never the same moment because we deal with so many great people, so many great clients, so many diverse clientele that you just always have to be educated on just about everything. And obviously you can't be educated on everything, but the grasp of knowledge that you have to do this work is intriguing. And it's so, I think the word is electric because, I got super, up for big time games. In the role that I'm in now, that's an everyday, concept for me. I'm in a big time game every day. And, you're dealing with people's wealth. You're dealing with people's hard-earned money. And that has to be obviously taken seriously. But there's a lot of stress in that because, if you mess up, this could cost somebody millions of dollars. So it's stressful. That's the right phrase I'm looking for. It's very stressful. But I love what I'm doing. And, the growth that I've had in the last 4 years here at Goldman Sachs has just been tremendous for me.
Well, you ain't gonna get any sympathy from me, man, because you made it stressful for offensive tackles your whole career, man. So, welcome to the game we've all been playing. Sure. A couple more for you. When you got to Goldman Sachs, what did you do to teach people how to treat you? You had to establish yourself in a totally different uniform, in a totally different environment. What are a couple of things you did to do that effectively?
Dive in. I think, given what I did before Goldman Sachs, everyone knew me as the football player. Everyone knew me as Justin Tuck, the Super Bowl champion, or whatever that is, right? I had to make sure that they, in a short period of time, they started to see me as Justin Tuck, the private wealth advisor, Justin Tuck as the, Warden NBA, whatever it is, right? I had to transition their thought process from me as an athlete to me as a professional at this point. And I just dove in. Any project that I could add value to or help an analyst on, or any movement we were trying to do from diversity hiring, whatever it was available for me to add value to let them know, to let the powers that be at Goldman Sachs know that, I wasn't here just to be quote unquote the mascot. I wasn't here just to be that guy who has a great Rolodex of friends and acquaintances. No, I wanted to come in and do the work. I wanted to come in and truly build a business and be known for putting in the work and being one of the guys they could trust in all of these deals that we're doing. So it was hard because I found myself probably doing too much, but I wanted to truly make that impact early. And for me, honestly, and my team now, it's definitely boded well for us. We've had a really good year, and the focus for us is just continued growth.
Spoken like a true champion. If your team only knew that that's the only way defenses work, working together, adding value, right? And to be a champion this week, our Notre Dame Fighting Irish have to beat Clemson again.
Sure.
But what do you like about this championship caliber Notre Dame team?
I mean, we can do it a lot of different ways. Obviously, you're not going to like what I'm about to say, but offense gets the praise, right? And that's kind of how the game has been built with these high dynamic offenses, these high paid quarterbacks in the NFL. The rules and regulations around that has been skewed towards offense, right? But I like about this team is you've seen it. When we need to score points, obviously Ian Book and his side of the football and what they've been able to accomplish over there, they can go out and pick 40 points up. But when it comes to that nitty gritty, what I like that in the trenches type football game, we've also showed that we can hold teams under 17 points, under 20 points. And like when I was playing, regardless if that was in college or in NFL, we said our goal every week when we went out was to hold teams under 3 scores, 17 points, somewhere around there, right? If we did that, we gave our offense the opportunity, or we gave our team the opportunity to win. So I just see like a complete team. And I've been a part of teams where the offense was great and the defense was subpar and vice versa. And those teams just didn't have the same success. If you think about my Super Bowl teams, we had teams that Eli could go out and get us 40 points, but we also had teams that we could shut down on offense. And when you have that caliber of team from top to bottom, you can win in so many different ways. We can run with our rushing attack. We can run with nickel and diming you with our tight end and slants with our wide receivers. We can beat you with our pass rush. We can beat you in our zone and man-to-man coverage and taking out one of your key wide receivers. We can beat you so many different ways. So that's what I like about this team. And obviously, we're going against another Clemson team that we've seen earlier. Now, Trevor is back. And yes, he is a great quarterback. But I don't think mentally it affects us that much because now we have proven to ourselves, the Notre Dame football team has proven to ourselves that we can hang with these big boys. Clemson is a big boy. We've proven that we can beat them. And I think that mindset is going to play so much value in us going into this game. Whereas there's been other opportunities we've had in previous years that I didn't feel like mentally we felt like we belong there. I think now this team mentally feels like, and Coach Kelly has done a really good job of just pinking it in their brain that mentally they belong there. They got the talent, right? They've always had the talent. But you know as well as I know, those teams who mentally believe that they can win, they're not hoping to win. They feel like they're supposed to win. And I think this team, encompasses that for me. And I'm very excited to see them go out and play hard and win this game on Saturday.
I see it the same way. You can almost tell as champions, we can tell when there's a team with belief. Yeah. And that's very hard to beat. He is Justin Tuck, a great teammate, a great man, a great husband, great father, great vice president at Goldman Sachs. And Justin, I'm just so happy to talk to you today and so honored. And he is a great Notre Dame alumni. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone, and God bless.
Go Irish. Next here is Vic's Picks, where you get to beat Vic Lombardi.
All right, time for you to win some swag, some sweatshirts from Vic's Picks. You beat me on the picks, you go home with a hoodie. Last week, Father Joe stole one from me. Yeah, Father Joe, congratulations. Merry Christmas to you, by the way. If I mispronounce your name, it's because I'm dumb. But we'll go down the list here. All you have to do is pick the winner of the game, beat the point spread or not, total yards to break the tie. You've seen it. You've done it. Let's do it. Our first contestant from Chicago, Illinois. It's got a combo platter here. John and Kathy Murphy join us, representing the Jesse Harper Council. I love your background, guys. That's awesome.
Thanks, Vic.
Thanks,
Just
Vic.
for you. Just for you, Vic.
I mean, did you? How did you draw that up like that? Where are you? How did you make that happen?
Proprietary stuff, Vic.
Hey, that's
Proprietary
our,
stuff.
it's our screensaver everywhere. Our TVs, our phones, our computers, iPads, we're all in.
Okay, where are you going to watch the game Saturday? Where are you going to be?
We're watching it at home here in Chicago with our family, our daughter who's an 08 alum, and our grandkids.
Wow. How intense does it get on game day with you guys and your family?
Oh,
It's pretty intense, Vic. It's pretty intense. Pretty
I mean,
intense.
do you have to have total quiet, or do you allow for
No.
There's a lot of yelling, and it's usually not by me.
I know how that works. All right, let's get to it. Who do you like? How much? What's it going to look like for the Irish and the Tigers this Saturday?
Well, Notre Dame's going to win, of course. It's going to be a close game, 27-24.
27-24. All right.
Yeah. So we're gonna cover the spread. I think it's gonna be a much more defensive-minded game. I think ND's gonna have about 430 yards of very efficient offense. We have to be really good on third downs again, Vic, both offensively and defensively. And it'd be great if we had a big special teams play this week.
Well, you are very detailed down to the background graphics. So I hope you win. Given the work you put in for this segment, I hope you win a couple hoodies. Joe and Kathy, thank you very much, John and Kathy. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Thanks.
All right. Up next, it seems we're going to Joan Fenzel, representing the Kavanaugh Council out of Worcester, Ohio.
So my picks are that Notre Dame will win. We will cover the spread. We will have 475 yards, and the score will be 35-28.
From the President's Circle, class of 90 or 76 here, Jim Rashid. Jim joins us on Vic's Picks. Did I pronounce the last name correctly, Jim?
Not quite. Some people pronounce it that way, but we pronounce it Rashid.
Rashid,
All
I
right.
should have known. My fault.
No, I've been called worse. It's okay.
All right, so where are you located for the game Saturday? Where are you watching?
In my family room with my daughter. She's St. Mary's grad and Notre Dame master's degree doctor now. So it'll be the two of us watching.
How often do you get back for games?
All of them. I've been going to all the games. Been going to all of them since she was a freshman at St. Mary's. Before that, my wife was a St. Mary's grad. We used to go to all the games. Well, not all the games, but when my daughter started at St. Mary's, we started going to all of them. Before that, we went back at least once a year, started taking the kids when they could go, and we only missed 1 year since we graduated. So
how painful is it watching games now, probably identifying where your seat is in that stadium and saying, man, I wish I were there.
Well, you know what? You know what I've done? I've gone back. I own a home in South Bend because I've been going to all the games. And we got together with the people that I tailgate with and some others, and we backed the van up into the driveway and set up the TV, and we spread out, and we had a little fire pit for the night games, and we watched the games. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, so you get to participate regardless. That's awesome. Very well done. Okay, Jim, you saw the first one. You saw the first game. I don't know if we're going to get – you can't get more dramatic than the first one. How will this one end?
I think we're going to win, obviously. I think the score is going to be 41-35. I think we're going to have 476 yards of offense. Obviously, we beat the spread.
41 points. So you see offense aplenty. And, the first game, of course,
do.
double overtime. Why? Why so insistent on the offense?
Because I really like Ian Book, and I think he's got a great line in front of him, and he's got great receivers, and the running backs are fantastic. And Coach Kelly's done a masterful job with those guys, and they've really come together. I really enjoy watching them. They're just and then defense is doing great too. So they'll have to hold on Clemson, and we got a great team and a lot of good people. So,
well, Jim, when things are back to normal next year, I'm going to stop by your fire pit before a game. Do you mind?
Well, not at all. We'd love to have you. We'd
All
love
right,
to
beautiful.
have you. We always park in the same place in the Joy slot, so we're there.
Good. Best of luck, my man. We'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Take
Thanks
care.
for having me.
We're going to move on now to Ray Boris, class of 74, representing the Soren Society. Ray, what's up, bud? Ooh, nice Christmas decoration.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
How you been?
I'm just fine. Class of 74, national champions, my senior year.
Did you go to in 74? Explain to the young folks who was on that team.
Well, that was Tommy Clements was quarterback, and Sugar Bowl against the Bear, and we beat him 24-23. Clements to Robin Weber at the end. I was right there, and I played in the band all 4 years, as you could tell. I got my band mug and everything there, and so yeah. It was great.
Did you get back? I mean, obviously not this season, but most recently, yeah.
Yeah, well, in the last maybe 20 years since we've lived here in St. Louis area, but we lived in Georgia for a long time. We lived in Southern California, so when we were out there, it was a little harder. And when we were in Georgia, my kids were too young, couldn't afford to drive all the way up all the time. But the last 20 years, we've been back every year at least for one or two or several games.
All right, Ray.
In fact, I even had tickets for Ireland this year. I wish I could have gone. We had tickets. We were supposed to go. We went in 2012, but also point out my picture here in the back. That's from the Cotton Bowl in 1971. I was in the band. I'm in that picture. There's an ND. That's our ND on the field.
Wow.
Joe Theismann that year.
You're like the National Geographic of Notre Dame alum. You got a little bit of everything going.
Yeah, marched in the Cotton Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl. My 4 years.
Right. What do you expect Saturday against the Tigers, a second go-around?
Aaron Williams is going to take off just like he did the last game, and he's going to go all the way down. He's going to get a lot of yards, add to that 1,000 yards he's already got, and we're going to get him 41-38 and 480 yards total. Not quite as many as the first game, but we got running game going, and Book's going to do the job.
Ian Book, perfect on the season, winningest quarterback in Notre Dame history. If there's a quarterback I trust in a tense game, it is Ian Book. Hey, Ray, thanks for the intel. Appreciate it, bud.
All right. Go Irish.
All right. Up next, representing the Rockney Athletics Fund, class of 17, Mark Frank joins us on Vic's Picks. What up, Mark?
How's it going, Vic?
How are you? Where are you located?
Down here in Houston, Texas.
Yeah. Houston's. All right, so where are you going to watch the game?
So I'm watching it down here with a friend of mine who actually played and graduated a couple years ago. So just him and I down here.
Oh, yeah? What's it like watching with a former player who sort of feels the sensation of playing in those kind of games?
It's really fun and just brings a different dynamic to the game, especially he had most of the current coaches. He can tell you kind of what they're thinking and what those huddles are like and just some of those inside scoops that most people really don't get to experience.
Are you allowed to tell us who that former player is or no?
I'll leave his name out.
Oh, okay. So he must have some intel then. He must have been in those huddles big time. First time around, Notre Dame had to rally late, shocked the world with the way they won that game. How can the encore be any better than that first game? You anticipate the same type of neck-to-neck kind of game? It's going to be down to the wire?
I mean, two great defensive coordinators going at it. They've had weeks to prepare. They're not letting those splash plays up, but I think the only way you could beat an encore is winning an ACC championship.
Sure. Does it bother you that the Irish are double-digit underdogs?
Not at all. I mean, it's the same team that we played before. It's just a chance to prove everyone wrong, both covering the spread and beating them.
All right, so what's going to happen? Give us your numbers.
I got to agree with the Murphys from before, 27-24.
27-24. You've got 425 yards of offense. All right, we'll put you down. Best of luck to you, my man. Enjoy the game Saturday.
Thanks. Have a good
All
one.
right. Up next, from the Congregation of Holy Cross, it is Father Eric Schimmel, who's also a rector at Dunn Hall, repeat guest on this show. Eric, Father, have you beaten me in Vic's picks yet? Have you had the?
I did not.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and make it easy on you this week. Okay. So this is a great opportunity. A great opportunity to take home one of those beautiful sweatshirts. What do you see happening in the rematch?
I see a very nervous Dabo as he's lobbying that Ohio State can't get into the playoffs at all. That says something to me.
Yeah.
I see a Clemson run game that has been stymied the last couple of weeks. ETN hasn't had a 100-yard game since October.
Uh-huh.
He hasn't broken 80 yards since before we played them.
Good point.
I think, Clemson, if you look at how they're playing, they rely a lot on the big chunk plays. Whenever they're in a game that they blow somebody out. Boston College didn't give up a ton of chunk plays. They had a close game against them. I don't think that our defense in Clark's last season and hurrah are going to give up those big chunk plays. They're going to make Clemson work, and I think that's going to make Clemson sweat, and they're going to end up on the losing end again, and they won't be able to blame being away from home and all that type of stuff.
Father, what about the argument that Trevor Lawrence is different? He's been in the big games, he's calm in the big games, and he doesn't lose many big games.
I hear that argument, and yet at the same time, can you really see him putting up more yards than?
No, I don't.
Seriously, he might. The thing that might hurt us is his wheels.
Yeah.
But other than that, Clemson's going to get their yards. They're going to get their points. But I think, we're going to start wearing on them with our physicality that they're not used to as much.
Have you thought about a career change? Maybe Sports Center, Fox Sports, something like that. NBC Sports can find a role for you.
I haven't been asked that yet. I'm going to have to talk to my superiors.
Father, best of luck.
Until then, I'm rolling with the Sentinels of Dunn Hall.
All right, Dunn Hall. So I don't know if I saw your numbers. Obviously, you anticipate a Notre Dame win. One more time. What's the final score?
I've got Notre Dame up 35-31.
Okay.
Obviously beating the spread. About the same number of yards as we got last time, not counting either the big 65-yard play or not counting the overtime, however you want to look at it. I think at the end of the day, we will have our one and only conference championship, and we will head on to the playoffs, hopefully to get revenge against other, retribution for other losses like Ohio State and Alabama in previous bowls. That would just be a sweet ending to an ugly 2020.
That be what a Christmas present that would be. Father, thank you very much. Hopefully the picks come true.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Up next, representing the John Cardinal O'Hara Society, looks like we have a combo here. Two people on set. Carlin Adrianopoli. I hope I didn't hurt that name too much. Carlin, and is that your son?
Yes, it is, Vic. How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Give me your last name so I don't.
You nailed it, man. Adrianopoli. You did great, buddy.
Adrianopoli. I want to say something off the top. Everybody watching, that is by far the sweetest Notre Dame background I have ever seen.
We had to support the colors, Vic. We had to support the colors, buddy.
Oh my goodness! Are you in your home? Is that where is that? Where are you located?
Yeah, we're in our home in Chicago.
That is so cool. What's your son's name again?
Tyson.
Tyson?
Yeah,
like how many? What's your record, Tyson, for free throws in a row there in that basketball court?
I actually have more threes than free throws in a row.
How many threes?
14.
Did you 14 threes in a row? We got the best court to practice on.
He's coming in hot here. He's trying to be part of Notre Dame class of 31. We'll see.
That is so cool. Where are you guys going to watch the game?
At our house in Chicago.
And do you have a big gathering? Is it a small one? How do you do it?
Just we've got three boys, my wife and I, and my sister and our dog. So
okay,
we'll have a great time though.
Tyson, do you want to go to Notre Dame, or is it too early to ask you that question?
Never too early, Vic.
Yeah. Yeah, Dad
He
told me
knows
that.
how hard it is, my friend. He knows how hard it is.
Yeah, I know. It's not easy. Okay, guys, walk us through it. What's it going to look like the second time around against Clemson?
What do you think, Big T?
I'm guessing they're going to win. I'm guessing they're going to get 430 yards.
Okay.
And they're going to win 31-28.
We're going to cover the spread?
Yes, of course, Vic.
Okay, I got to see you shoot it. You got a basketball nearby? Come on. I got to see you take a shot. Let's go, Tyson. Let's go.
Oh, buddy, pressure is on.
Yeah, this is pressure right now.
Vic, I love it. That's a great cover. And a three.
I mean, the guys. Oh, come on, Tyson. We're not leaving until you make a shot. We'll be here all day. I don't care. Let's go.
Take one shot. It's video editing right here. Let's see it. You're good. 3 shirts. I love it.
Oh, come on. Make it a layup at least. Hey, Tyson, thank you, buddy. John.
A chance. Vic, I'm going to hear this forever now.
You should not have made him wear 3 shirts, Dad, for crying out loud. Carlin, thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, so much. Take care.
Before we go back to Ryan Harris, let me give you my picks for the week. And this was a tough one. This is the toughest one of the year because it's hard not to let emotion take over. Can it be a better game than the first time? Can it possibly end in more dramatic fashion? I'm not sure. I think it's going to be another close game. I think Notre Dame will win this game, and I think it's going to be a 1-point game. The beauty of overtime is usually teams can win by a touchdown, but we know it's much closer than that. So my picks for the week, yes, Notre Dame wins 28-27. It won't be as high scoring because it's not going to go to overtime. I think something fluky will happen, like Clemson missing an extra point. Notre Dame will cover the spread, and we've got close to 500 yards of offense. That'll do it for Vic's picks. Coming up next, we celebrate Notre Dame seniors and the special season they gave us.
For the senior class. For the young men who built a brotherhood. For the team that has turned uncertainty
And the Irish
into legend.
have knocked off #1 Clemson.
An Irish blessing.
See the gold helmets bouncing, everybody on their feet.
May the road rise up to meet you.
First down, Irish.
May the wind be always at your back.
Ball knocked away.
May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields.
Notre Dame touchdown.
And until we meet again,
Do you believe in miracles?
may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
Ian Book facing his biggest moment yet.
Against all odds, you persisted through the chaos.
Didn't think you'd see it? Here it is. First time in 2020.
Relentless,
Eating out, let's go all day. We all eat today, let's go.
fearless,
Let's get it
united.
Yo, Captain, got you. We got they back. Love y'all boys, let's go. Clap it up.
Together, you rallied.
Come on, bring it up. Big on, 2, 1, 2. Shout out to the offensive line. He looks comfortable when there's chaos.
91 yards away.
Hot for the touchdown by Davis.
Intercepted. Sean Crawford.
Nick McLeod.
Owusu Koromoa.
Irish defense showing why they're one of the best in the country.
Here we go to overtime. Drilled it.
Boys, one play at a time. Let's go.
97-yard drive to claim the lead.
Here today, let's go. Leaping catch made by Javon McKinley. He is sacked. Ani Ogundeji. I love the way Drew White is playing tonight.
Sacked again. Dalen Hayes.
I love y'all boys more than I love anyone in this world, bro.
You will forever carry with you the spirit of Notre Dame.
It's for the brotherhood. FTB, bro.
And here come the Irish.
Onward to victory.
Wow.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Wow. That is amazing to behold. You know, it's funny how when people relate back to any team sport, any team they're on, high school, college, you never forget moments like that. When you're in the locker room and you hear a leader speak, what do you remember most about your senior year? Did you have that senior moment just like that?
I'll never Forget seeing the old press box, and Brady came over to me towards the end of the game. We're playing Army. He goes, "Come on, bud, we're taking a lap." And it was after the game. We just circled the field, and the whole crowd was there, and it was just an amazing experience. And you're right, Vic. You remember the laughs and the jokes, and it was so powerful to see Dalen Hayes, speak after getting that game ball and say, "Hey, I love you guys more than anyone in the world." I mean, for him to realize that, because so often we're in those experiences and we don't realize this is the fun part. This is the part that I won't forget. The scores you'll remember, but you'll never forget those laughs, those relationships. And at Notre Dame, we all know it's different for the rest of your life being a part of Notre Dame.
Okay, Ryan, I don't want to talk about what could happen in the CFP if Notre Dame loses. Let's talk about when Notre Dame wins. How do the Irish win the second game?
The Irish win by taking shots early and often, while also getting Ian Book in the running game. I love one of their best plays is after they get Kyron Williams going a couple of times. Well, all of a sudden, Ian Book pulls that football back and he follows Kyron Williams. And why people don't defenses, it's so hard because they have to go make that tackle on Kyron Williams. But then all of a sudden, I'm out of place for the real ball carrier, Ian Book, who comes upfield. So I want to see those kinds of plays. I want to see Javon McKinley go off, and I want to see Avery Davis get some deep shots as well. But Michael Mayer is a totally different player than he was in the beginning of the year. I've said it before on this show. This is the best Notre Dame team that I've seen since I've been affiliated with Notre Dame. Their mindset, their tenacity, their physicality, it's on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, there's a certain resolve, and you can sense it. Defensively, we saw what DJ did against the Irish secondary. What can they learn from that first go-around to change things up a bit?
One of the things, once a corner gets beat deep, like they did a couple of times, especially in overtime, right? First play of overtime, touchdown. Whoa. They're going to know that there's that deep threat capability is there, right? Boston College had the deep threat. Every offense typically does, but they shut that down against North Carolina. What I'm going to be interested to see, what I believe will happen, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was heavily disruptive, an interception and a forced fumble on back-to-back drives. But Kyle Hamilton hasn't had his breakout game yet. And if they try and focus only on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Kyle Hamilton has a huge ability to impact this game in ways that he has yet to do in his collegiate career.
You think Trevor Lawrence's beautiful hair is a distraction?
I was next to him the first time these teams played in Dallas, and Vic, the Angels play harps. They're right behind his ears, behind the ears before the curl back up. I mean,
I don't think it's fair, to be honest with you. That should not be allowed. You can't be flowing with hair like that in the course of the
he's trying to be the touchdown Jesus against Notre Dame. They got to stop that. Can't happen.
Hey, buddy, that was fun, man. Have fun in Charlotte. Have a good call of the game, and we'll talk when the Irish come home 11-0 conference champs.
Go Irish.
Here come the Irish. Thanks for tuning in. For Ryan Harris, I'm Vic Lombardi, and now the great Chloe Agnew to close the show.
And I remember Clemson again. Woo!